Okay, so this is a quick tutorial on how to import an FBX, do a quick animation, and export an FBX back to the Unity project. So to start off with, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to import an FBX file. Alright, here we can already see I have the drone worker file in this folder. This is actually the same exact drone worker file that we have in our mech constructor turrets models. So here all I have to do is select this and import it in, and now we have our model. What's nice is this is already rigged for us. That makes our life a lot easier. I know it's rigged because it has these bones on it. The bones are what we're going to use to animate the model. Unfortunately, I can't see all of them right now, so what I want to do is, after I've selected a bone, I come over here to Object Data Properties, go to Viewport Display, and click In Front. This now allows me to see all the bones without the mesh conflicting on it. So now with the bone selected, I'm going to hit Tab and go into Pose mode. So now I can control the bones for our animations, like rotating here. So what I do here is when you're doing an animation for a game, you tend to want it to start and stop on an idle pose or a pose that it can transition into. So to start us off on keyframe 1 here on our timeline, I'm going to select all the bones, hit I for insert keyframe, and I'm going to say location rotation. This now has the idle pose set to go. So let's say I just want to have the head pop up. So if I select the head bone, I can now go over to slide the timeline over. What I want to make sure to do is click this auto keying, because without this I'm going to have to manually press the insert keyframe button every time I change something. You quickly lose track of that. So I put in auto keyframe. I've moved over to further in the timeline, and now hitting G, I'm going to move the head up. So now we have this animation. Since I want this to revert back to its original default pose, I select all the buttons, come to keyframe 1 where it was keyframed at this pose. I'm going to Shift D, select all, highlight frame 1, make sure this is the only frame selected, Shift D, and move this further down the timeline. This now pastes the pose down here too, and it goes back to our original position. This is great. This is an animation right here. If I want to, I can now select all of these, Shift D, move it further down. So this is the default pose. This line just means there is no transition change between these two keyframes. So here I'm going to delete this pose. I just highlight, hit X, and delete keyframe. And now what I can do is I can do a different animation. So here I'm going to rotate the arms out and up, out and up. There we go. And now we have another animation. Okay, we are all set here. So now what I want to do is I'm going to hit Tab and go into object mode. I hit A to select everything in the scene. Just want to call out that I have removed any of the external objects that come with a new scene, like the camera and the point of light, or point light. So with everything selected, I'm going to come to Export, go to FBX, select this, and now I want to save this FBX file. I'm going to call it drone example, because I like to keep different states of the stuff I'm working on. So have drone example. I do selected objects. Here it shouldn't matter as much, but this is just to be safe. I choose armature and mesh, and now I need to set Z forward because that's what Unity uses. I'm going to come down to the armature setting and do only deform bones, and then I can hit export FBX. Now if we look in our folder, we got the FBX model. So now what I'm going to do here is go over into the Unity game folder, RTS21. I created this animation example folder that's empty. I'm just going to bring our drone example over here. Now if we open up the project, we now have our model in here, and if we hit play, we can see both of our animations play out. That's because it comes in as one long animation to start off with, and we have two different animations. So I'm going to hit plus twice. I'm going to rename this one drone head. I'm going to do this one drone arms. Now to get the keyframes. So we knew just to see, you can actually write these down, and it makes it super simple to reference later. So from 1 to 40 is our head animation. So for drone head, I'm just going to say 1 to 40. And there's our head animation. And now our next one is from 50 to 89. Here it always shows one less, so this isn't a big deal. So we're going to do 50 to 88, and now there we go. If we wanted to, we could have even done this 50 to 70 and then 71 to 88 and had him have one animation where his arms are up and another animation where his arms are down. So after this is set, we just apply, click off and apply, and you will now see that the animation clips are saved down here. And so we can now select these, and if we hit Control D to duplicate, we'll see that the animation clips have been removed from the actual object themselves, and you can drag and drop these like you could any other animation clip. And because it uses the same rig as the drone scout we've been using, you should be able to place these on there. So that is how I import, export, and animate drones.